Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News episode 199. Next week, we're going to celebrate that I have been making the news show for 200 weeks straight. And this week, Tesla made their delivery event of their Cybertruck, putting all the doubters to shame. And Tesla continues to grow in China despite rumors of demand problem. And the blame game for missed BEV goals has started in Germany. And Volkswagen now saying that their BEVs are no longer competitive. And GM is making more strange moves this week. And Mazda CEO is out saying that EVs, other than Teslas, are not taking off. And we got some more BS from Toyota as well. And in Europe, EVs are still growing fast, especially Tesla. But the industry association thinks this will continue in 2024. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
This was the week the long-awaited Cybertruck got delivered to its first customers. So, Tesla delivered the first Cybertruck, so that is really cool, and a big slap in the face of people that said it was vaporware. The Cybertruck would never be built. It is real and is now out there, kicking ass and taking names. But for the first time we see Tesla not able to deliver on the specs they promised. Tesla usually always delivers on the specs from the prototype, but this time around they did come down in range. We already knew the towing and cargo weight had come down, but the range is quite a bit off the original long range anyway of 500 miles. The single motor and dual motor is exactly as expected from the reveal, over 250 and over 300 miles of range. So that's nice, but we can only get close to the range of the 500 miles with the range extender package with a 50 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is a battery pack you put in the bed of the truck that takes up 1/3 of the truck bed. As you can see here in this picture, as Elon said on X, it's kind of meant for the people that need to tow heavy stuff over long distance. But with the dual motor version and the battery extender, you get up to 470 miles of range. But still not the 500 miles of range the truck itself as Tesla promised, but the Cybertruck only have a 123 kilowatt hour battery pack. That is almost half the size of something like the Homo EV battery pack. So talk about inefficiency with the Homo EV. But still, the Cybertruck has a very good range. The dual motor does a bit more than the Tesla Model 3 long range, so definitely not bad. I think maybe Tesla just realized that there are only like 0.1% that do over 250 miles in a day. So why make this car for the 0.1% of the market, and the 99.9% need to pay extra for these extra batteries and carry around this oversupply every single day? So maybe this is why we don't get the 500 mile range, but you can get the 470 miles of range if you really need it. Just as we saw with the Plaid Model S Plus with the huge range, they took that down again. As Elon said, the Plaid was good enough and it's just too much battery to carry around in your everyday driving. But forget the promised 500 miles range, the truck is still the coolest beast out there. Unfortunately, the delivery event itself was a little underwhelming in my opinion, where they didn't really talk about all the great accessories there are for this truck, which I think is a shame they didn't show that at the event, or mention it had bidirectional charging, and showed us some of all the cool features this truck has. So all of that was something we had to wait for all the reviews to come out to show us. So Tesla could for sure have made a better event and presentation for the most anticipated vehicle in history. And then there was the price that, as expected, had gone up, just like we have seen with the Silverado EV, the F-150 Lightning and the Rivian. But of course, this is the only thing the mainstream media is focusing on. It is more expensive than the original. Not that it's the first to come with a 48-volt architecture or steer-by-wire or all the other breakthroughs or first-to-market that Tesla has made. No, it's just more expensive than originally planned. But we have to remember, the Cybertruck does have 10 times times the order backlog than what Ford said the F-150 had after their reveal. They had 200,000 pre-orders. Tesla has 2 million pre-orders. Tesla is allowed to price the Cybertruck whatever they like, as their demand for the thing is just off the chart. But that being said, yes, the Cybertruck is a bit more expensive than originally announced, but so is the F-150 Lightning and the Silverado. This is not just Tesla, but we have to look at the specs you get with the Cybertruck, because there is really not much competition out there then. As the F-150 Lightning Platinum, so the best you can buy, costs at about $92,000, but its specs is close to the Tesla dual motor Cybertruck, so 0.0 seconds slower but has 40 miles more range, and of course charging speed for the Cybertruck is about 200 kilowatts faster, and much bigger screen and better software. Autopilot comes as standard in the Cybertruck, and you can tow 2,500 pounds more and carry 843 pounds more in the bed, but the dual motor Cybertruck only cost $80,000, so it is $12,000 cheaper. But it's a much better and capable truck than the F-150 Lightning. So I think Tesla also had to look at the market and price the Cybertruck accordingly. And Tesla will earn money on their Cybertruck when they get this beast ramped up, of course. Where Ford is still losing something like $35,000 on every EV they sell. So the Ford F-150 Lightning should be priced at something like $130,000 just to break even. And that is the big difference here between Tesla and the competition. Tesla's price is actually a real price where they will earn money, whereas Ford's price is not a real price, as they are losing money on every damn car they sell. Or you can pay only about $8,000 more than the Lightning Platinum, and you can get the Cyber Beast instead. That will eat the F-150 Lightning for breakfast, with more power and towing capacity, and it's bulletproof and all that good stuff, 48-volt architecture, steer-by-wire, and all the things the F-150 doesn't have. In the future, Tesla could bring the price down as they get to economy of scale, not just for the Cybertruck itself, but also for the 4680 sales, because this might also be one of the reasons Cybertruck didn't get the range we expected for the long-range one, as Tesla has not get the full potential out of the 4680 cells just yet. They are as good as Tesla's old batteries already, but we haven't really seen the more power or capabilities of the 4680 cells really come to life just yet. But that is still to come, but that might come down the road, as well as a lower price of the 4680 cells as Tesla get to a much higher production volume of the cells. And some other great news for the Cybertruck is the steer-by-wire, which is very cool and the first to market, and Top Gear said it is not a race car, but its handling does put other pickup truck to shame. Actor of the Year in Top Gear's 2023 award. But if you really want some well-produced video, Haggerty made such a great video, you should watch that just to see the production of the video. So well done. But Haggerty always delivers in production value. But put aside the production value and just listen to this.
If you look at this shape and think, man, that is a middle finger to the establishment, just wait till you find out what's underneath. But the engineering story behind the Cybertruck, well, that's something that no car company from the past could have ever pulled off. Tesla went one step further. They threw out the conventional pickup truck design, but then started from scratch with chassis construction, the unpainted stainless steel, the steer-by-wire, the 48-volt electrical system. It's all from scratch. It's all brand new. And it's all better. It really is Truck 2.0. That is unbelievable. I mean, this left the Rivian for dead, despite the fact that this is on like mud tires and that's on summer performance tires. Okay, this means Cybertruck is the quickest truck ever, both 0 to 60 and through the quarter mile. Period. It's a hell of a car. It drives really well. The suspension is great. Makes you wonder why steering wasn't always like this. It's smooth. It's fast as hell. It does everything well.
So hate it or love it, but you can't ignore it. This will change automotive and the roads forever.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes. The ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. And they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Tesla continues to grow in China despite rumors of a demand problem. In China, the Tesla Model Y from January to August is the best-selling car in China. But the demand problem in China, nobody wants EVs anymore. Yes, no one really wants German EVs in China anymore, but they seem to like Tesla very much. Even the Model 3 has seen great growth here in 2023, even before the refreshed Model 3 came out in late October. So I only expect the Model 3 to rise even more in Q4, as we have seen the sales numbers of the Model 3 taking off again in China, after Tesla started selling the refreshed Model 3. So it's going to be fun to see if the Model 3 can jump up the list of best-selling cars in China. From January to August, it's set at number 22. And remember, in China, there are 599 car models to choose from. So the Tesla Model 3 is number 22, and the Tesla Model Y is number 1, is a really good testimony to Tesla's awesome cars that shines bright in the biggest car market on the planet. But as always, as I also showed in last week's news show, the first month of a quarter is usually small for Tesla domestically in China because they export cars around the world. And Roland shared an updated chart with the October numbers, and here we can see the BYD Queen Plus, a hybrid car, has taken the first spot from the Tesla Model Y. But the Queen Plus has sold a steady 37 to 39,000 per month, but we have seen the Tesla Model Y go above 50,000 many times before, so we could have a really close race here in the last couple of months to see who will be crowned the best-selling car in China, the Model Y or the BYD Queen Plus. But Tesla continues in week 47 with good sales numbers when looking at the insurance data shared by Roland as well. Tesla was up 35% year over year, and we can see Tesla continues to rise above last year's total, and if the trend continues, we should expect Tesla to hit something close to 600,000 units in 2023, where Tesla sold 439,770 units total last year, so up about 40% in China year over year. Funny how we have been hearing about Tesla's demand problem in China through the whole year, and then they end up with about 40% growth, coming from an already high volume, so increasing their China sales with about 160,000 units here in 2023. To put that growth into a little perspective, the entire Volkswagen Group in the first 3 quarters of this year sold just above 117,000 units. So if they have a pretty good Q4 in China, they should end the year off with something between 160 to 170,000 BEV sold in China. So basically, Tesla's growth in China is going to be what the Volkswagen Group is able to sell in total. And Volkswagen's growth in China is not going to be much more than 9 to 10%, even though they come from a much lower basis, and the EV market is going to grow something like 35 to 40%. So once again, it is not Tesla that sees a demand problem in China, it is the legacy automakers. The blame game for missed BEV goals has started in Germany. As Alex wrote on X, Volkswagen Group CEO Blumer, the ramp-up of electromobility in Germany and Europe is slower than was expected a few years ago. Not really, but the main reasons for this development are poor framework conditions such as high prices of electricity, expired purchase incentive and lack of charging stations. And Federal Minister of Transport Wissing said, to achieve this we need a committed auto industry that pulls together with us, and in addition to deliver e-vehicles, also contribute to a forward-looking expansion of the charging infrastructure. Yeah, so high electricity, Bloomer. What a stupid excuse. Yes, we had very high electricity when the war in the Ukraine broke out, but that has all come down to pretty normal levels during the summer here. I even had days that I got paid to fill up my Tesla. And I have been driving around Europe on road trips with my family for 4 years now, and I have never had a lack of charging stations. But of course, I am also driving a Tesla, so I have plenty of superchargers, and when staying at hotels and campsites and much more, many of them have charging available on site. I have more than 500,000 charging plugs in Europe to use. So this is nothing but excuses. Yes, Volkswagen should have been more serious about their charging network with Ionity, the European pedant to electrify America, Volkswagen's Dieselgate charging networks. But even though they have been making these chargers since 2017, they today, 6 years later, have only 2,955 stores available. Tesla, only in Europe, and only superchargers available to all other EVs is already over 10,000 units. So sorry, Bloomy, but I only hear excuses here, as Tesla not only has the charging infrastructure, but they also have the best-selling car in Europe as well. But Volkswagen was also out this week saying that their EV were no longer competitive. I did make a whole video about this, so if you want to learn more, check that one out, link down below. But basically, Volkswagen said this is very critical. So it seems that the whole German car industry is at a crossroad. They are afraid of oversupply in 2024 and the price war that Tesla has started, as they know they can't compete with Tesla on specs or price. So even though the German government want to have 15 million BEVs on the road by 2030, the auto industry is saying that only half of that will be sold. And they can only do that if the government helps them with EV incentives and charging infrastructure. Funny how Tesla is the only one not crying in the corner, begging the German government to help them sell their EVs. So GM is making some more strange moves this week. General Motors is working to regain Wall Street's confidence heading into 2024 with several investor-focused incentives. Wednesday, following a turbulent year of labor strike and a setback in the plans for electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles, but nonetheless, GM plans to increase its quarterly dividend by 33% to 12 cents per share, initiating an accelerated $10 billion buyback program. I personally don't understand this. GM is, in my opinion, quite in the trouble financially, as they are not keeping up with the car of the future, the EV. They can't even make them profitable, and the $30,000 to $40,000 EV will not even be profitable this decade, as Mary has said herself. And they have been out loaning money from the government to make this shift to EVs, but now they want to spend those billions of dollars on share buybacks. Is it just me, or does this seems a very desperate move to gain some confidence for the investors and some short-term rise in the stock? And it doesn't look like it's only me that thinks this is a bit strange, as Jeff also wrote on X. GM took $2.2 billion of US federal government loans for Ultimum last year and have a position of the $15.5 billion just transitioned to EV loan from August. Wonder what the federal government think of them taking loaned money, delaying EVs, and then in the same quarter kick off a $10 billion buyback. I'm speechless. I really don't understand what GM is doing here. Mary was out saying that GM stock was undervalued. I don't think so. GM's company is heading for another bankruptcy in my opinion, so I would not give it much value at all. So I guess Mary is just trying to pump up the stock by making a $10 billion buyback. But $10 billion, that is more than what GM has made in net income in a year over the past 10 years. So a weird timing on doing this. But hey, GM has made many weird decisions through the last 5 years I didn't understand either, like investing in Nikola, and GM also backed out of that one again, and investing in Lordstown Motors, which they also backed out again. They are losing billions of dollars on the cruising venture and has just lost their CEO, and their sales in units are down from over 10 million in 2016 to under 6 million million in 2022. Not so difficult to understand why GM stock is down 18% since Mary became CEO 10 years ago, if you ask me. So I don't think it's undervalued. So going to be interesting to see how this will turn out, making a buyback for money they don't have. Remember, GM have more than $120 billion in debt, and now they want to make a buyback on loaned money. But at the same time, we can see the headlines like this: GM to sharpen EV focus. Didn't they just delay everything? And haven't they been focused on EV for the last 5 years? I thought they were leading. Boy, I don't know what to think anymore when it comes to GM. But I am not a Wall Street analyst, so what do I know? Just seems very weird. In Europe, EVs are still growing fast, especially Tesla, but the industry association thinks this will continue in 2024. In Spain, Tesla is also really taking off after October was the best month of a quarter ever. And now the second month is the best month ever. Not just the best second month, but the best month ever. So a new record quarter in Spain is just a matter of when, not if. And in Denmark, the crazy overtake of Tesla just continues, as Tesla in November was still the best-selling brand in Denmark. The Model Y was the best-selling car, Model 3 the second best-selling car. That really just shows us how much momentum the Model 3 has got after the refresh came out. So the Model 3 sales are up 4,950% from last month. Not bad. And 70% was Model Y, and 29% of the sales from Tesla was the Model 3. So November was the best November ever for Tesla in Denmark. And BEVs has really taken off on one of those SpaceX starships here in Denmark, as BEV account for now 44% of the Danish vehicle sales in November compared to 25% last year. So almost double the market share in just 1 year. Very impressive. But we also hear about great growth in BEVs in Europe next year as well. The market share of battery electric vehicles in European Union will grow by 43% next year, driven by a surge in new models, Industry Association ACEA predicts. The share of BEVs will rise to 20% in 2024 from expected 14% here in 2023, although the overall market is forecast to grow only slightly next year by 2.5% to 10.7 million units, up from 10.4 million that is expected here in 2023, which is 20% below the 2019 pre-pandemic figures. So while the old legacy automakers are saying no one wants EVs, we should see a huge growth next year as well as this year, according to the Industries Association. But the ICE cars are actually quite far from their peak. So as we can see, it is the BEVs that is growing and expected to continue to grow next year, while the ICE market continues to be 20% below their pre-pandemic highs. And we can see the troubling fall in overall market share for someone like Volkswagen, just here from June to October, as they fell from 11.3% to 9.5% market share. So yeah, the trouble for Volkswagen is becoming as clear as day. And for them to come out and say the roof is on fire and our BEVs are no longer competitive, and we can see their market share is shrinking, and they went from selling 1.78 million units in Europe at its peak in 2019 to only 1.197 in 2022. So Volkswagen is down 33% in unit sales over the past 3 years. So their revenue might be looking quite alright there because of the increase in average selling price of cars, but it kind of just hides the truth that Volkswagen sales are down millions in unit sales since their peak with about 11 million cars globally in a year. Here in 2023, they forecast that they will end somewhere between 9 to 9.5 million units. And at the same time, they are slowing down the BEV production because their product is no longer competitive. The car of the future. Yeah, this is not looking good. And if we see EV rise 43% next year, as the Industry Association is predicting, I think a lot of that growth comes from Tesla and the Chinese automakers. But of course, the European as well, as they still want to show that they can compete, so they will of course grow a little bit, but things are not looking good for someone like Volkswagen. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla shorts. Mazda's CEO was out saying electric cars inventory is piling up. EVs other than Teslas are not taking off. So we do see that the other automakers do know what we have been talking about for a while, that Tesla is not seeing a demand problem, but the other legacy automakers does see a demand problem for their EVs. But Mazda is of course using this as an excuse not to make and sell EVs because they just listen to what the customers want. Well, Mazda, you don't really make EVs, so how do you know what your customers want when you don't give them the choice? If you had a compelling EV, as Tesla does, most people will want one. It is the world's best-selling car, for crying out loud. And brilliant move from Tesla to have dozens of Cybertrucks in showrooms all over the US for Black Friday, making even more hype before the delivery event for the most anticipated vehicle in history. And we saw the Tesla Model Y kick some ass up some sand dunes, keeping up with the F-150 pickup truck and more. And on the other scale, we saw the Tesla Model Y help a semi-truck out that was stuck in snow. I mean, there is just nothing this car can't do. No wonder this car has become the best-selling car in the world. Just amazing. And BMW and Mercedes will build a charging network together in China. Within the next 3 years, a huge charging network with at least 1,000 stations, which together will provide around 7,000 fast charging points. On the way to this goal for the end of 2026, the first stations of the joint ventures are going into operation as early as next year. But why would BMW do this? BMW is saying EVs are not the future. The next hip thing is hydrogen. Shouldn't BMW be building hydrogen stations instead then? I guess not. BMW is simply just all over the place. But hey, nice to see them taking some action to build EV stations in China instead of just crying about the lack of infrastructure to the government as they do in Germany. And we got some more BS from Toyota this week, as head of Toyota Germany said, we could have simply emulated Tesla. Well, that would have been a wrong path for Toyota. We have to find our own way, and we are doing that right now. Sure you could. We have all seen your BZ4X, not even matching the first Tesla Model 3 that came out in 2017. And he continued, politicians are falling short if they want to solve this major problem with a single technology. If you only focus on one narrow technology path, decarbonation will take much longer than if several paths are taken at the same time, says Toyota's manager. What a bunch of BS. Yeah, we can see how much you are speeding up the decarbonation with your hydrogen cars that you are hardly selling any of. Putting all your effort into one technology and not 5 will speed things up, not the other way around. Toyota is still nothing but excuses to why they are way behind everyone else in the EV race. And if you didn't know, the Model 3 features a pedestrian protection system with an active hood that is designed to reduce head injury to pedestrians and cyclists in a frontal collision. Nice. And in the US we see how Tesla's 13 days of inventory is also industry leading, as we got this chart from Cox Automotive that shows the industry average is 67 days of inventory at the dealerships. Ford is at 95 days, and the best on the list is Toyota with 33 days. But again, Tesla 16 days. I really can't see the demand problem people are talking about. Tesla is still selling every vehicle they produce and faster than anyone else. And we finally have someone doing what Elon said someone should do, to extract and refine lithium in Europe. Clean tech startup Vulcan Energy wants to extract 24,000 tons of lithium from thermal waters from the end of 2025 and supply it to European automaker industry over an extremely short distance of a maximum of 80 kilometers. There are purchase agreements with Volkswagen Group, Stellantis and Renault, and Volkswagen is even considering joining Vulcan Energy Resource in the future. So that's very cool. They don't write in the article that they will refine the lithium, but as they will sell directly to automakers, I do expect Vulcan Energy will not just do the extraction but also the refining. But nice to see some movement on this in Europe. But it's not only in Denmark that Tesla is up and the Model 3 refresh seems to be taking off, as in Norway we also see the same pattern. The Model Y is the best-selling car, Tesla the best-selling brand, and the Model 3 is up 1,370%. Yeah, not bad. And before we end up with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my new supporters of this channel. My new YouTube member, Vergard Skoglund, and my new Patreon producers, Niklas Combell and Don Pettyjohn. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. Even cats knows how to act like nothing happened. What? Oh, I got you now, sucker. Oh, what? I'm not doing anything. What's that? What is that? Look up there. What is that? That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to hit that subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And don't forget, if you want to become an executive producer and get some news articles and exclusive videos during the week, early access, ads-free, sponsor-free, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheets, head over to bestintesla.com and join with the members button. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support, and if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to a donation options in the show notes. And also as simple as hitting the super like button. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.